just have to get the board up. There we go. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, so thank you again. That took forever. I'm really sorry about that. It always happens. Next time we can try Skype, maybe again. Maybe it'll work next time. But at least we have this third option of Google Meet. Yeah, I'm back from the tournament. Did you look at all the games yet, or just some of them?
I looked at all of them. And how do you feel about your tournament?
Well, I was hoping for a bit better, but at the same time, it was the under 1900 section, which is, pretty tough. I made some, like the first game I blundered 3 times, and I made some mistakes, and my score wasn't great, and I ended up losing 17 points overall. But overall, I don't feel that bad. I actually think I played decently. So I was hoping for better, but yeah, I don't know. I think, again, I was hoping for a little bit better, but I think I played okay. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm happy that you're not misled by the result. I was a bit worried that you would be a bit bummed because of the first 3 games in a row. But actually, you played much better than the last one. I mean, taking the result away from it, from consideration, the games are far better. I mean, you name blunders, but they're not nearly as bad as the blunders you made in your previous tournament.
Yeah, I think
they're much more subtle.
Yeah, I think some of the credit, like I have to credit my opponents, because I think they played pretty well. And like that, even that 1400 in the dragon, right? And he kept pushing, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this unrated guy. Well, I'm guessing he's unrated because there's no rating.
Yeah, the first round. Yeah.
Yeah. He was strong. I mean, clearly he was. He's a strong player who just hasn't got his USCF rating.
Yeah, well, Canadian, right? I'm Canadian, but the CFC rating, we call it. Yeah, I think he.
I'm sorry, what is it?
CFC. CFC.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I thought you all have you. Oh no, because it's
well, I'm Canadian. Yeah, that's yeah. So so Canada has its own national rating.
Yeah, US, of course.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
But I think he ended up with a provisional rating of, I think it was 1750.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it seems like he's quite strong. Well, let's start with the games in maybe in order. This was the first round, I guess.
Yes.
So with French, you never had trouble against the French.
Sometimes.
He surprised you with this. Yeah, this double pound useful in a sense because E5 is covered. Actually, Queen takes F6 is maybe a bit more solid, but it's more comfortable for you too because the plans are quite clear.
Yeah.
Knight to F3, Bishop to D3. At some point, you jump to E5. You don't have E5 now. But yeah, at the same time, it's a bit unstable. He has to know the plans. It seems like he did because Knight C6 is not a move you make if you don't know what you're doing. Because normally your reaction comes with C5 here, but it's a bit risky in this situation because this king is probably going to castle queenside. I mean, you already kind of destroyed your kingside. So this king is probably going to take shelter on the other side of the board. Bishop D3, spend 5 minutes on this. It's a natural move. Even though Stockfish prefers Bishop C4, Bishop E3. I think Bishop E3 is kind of theoretical. I'm not sure. But anyway, Bishop E3 can't be a bad move. b6, bishop f4, bishop b7. I mean, he really knew his system. Rook g8. This is another feature of these double pawns. I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing here. Bishop g3. And this bishop d6 is a bit suspicious. Bishop e7, queen d7, and castle looks like his most natural plan. So he played bishop d6. And here you mentioned d5.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, after, I didn't consider it at all, but after I analyzed it with the computer said that d5 is just winning here.
You didn't consider d5 at any point?
No, not even for 2 seconds.
Okay, well, d5 is quite a typical method for fighting against these double pawns because you want to destroy the unity among these 3 pawns. If you get to tear them apart, then these are to be quite weak. In this case, it was a bit obscure because you had to play d5 and then just make some natural moves, which is hard to do. I mean, you're sacrificing the pawn, but you are actually getting that. Maybe you give a check, then queen d2, can come to this 2h it wasn't easy to spot. I was looking at this. Sorry, I'm just going to go back a bit. After b6, you didn't consider something like bishop b5 at all?
No.
No?
No, I mean, moving the same piece twice, unless I get something extremely good out of it, I don't really. Like this early on, I haven't even castled yet, and so yeah, no.
I thought it didn't work. I mean, but it's something you have to look at because there are some tactics. I mean, bishop b5 followed by d5 and knight d4. Something that must be considered. I think in this case it doesn't work. I mean, bishop b7, then if d5, I think he has to take with the queen. And after the trade of queens, knight d4, and he has king d7. He always has king d7 in the end, and he's just going to push you back. I couldn't make that work, but it's something that you need to be aware of. I mean, you have to discard it, but based on some calculation, because it might just work. But up to this point, it's been quite well played. You attached 2 question marks to this one, which is harsh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Well, I mean, because of the fact that I missed d5, like d5 is according to the computer, just straight up winning. And I didn't even consider it, so that's why I gave the 2 question marks, because I didn't even consider d5, and I might have had a fairly easy win if I had seen d5. So
this position was really crashing, but it was quite attractive. I mean, rook e1, then you can even recover the pawn if you want. I'm not sure it's the best course of action, but you can recover the pawn immediately, and these 2 are awful. It's not so easy to castle anymore. But still, you're doing all right. Did you consider any other moves other than bishop takes h7 here?
I think I did, but then I saw that I could take the pawn, and I didn't see adequate compensation for black, so I took it. I already put my bishop on g3. I thought I've taken precautions against any attack, so I thought I've taken precautions, so I'm free to take the pawn. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the problems is that you didn't think about d5 in any scenarios. Otherwise, rook e1 might be a move, I guess. I don't think it's that great here. He can just exchange and play queen d7, and you're not in time to play d5. But it's something that maybe has to be considered because, well, it's It's a tactical blow that's just floating there. Bishop takes h7, rook g7, go back. Bishop takes g3. Well, this is probably your real mistake.
Oh yeah, this was terrible. I don't even want to look at it now. I mean, I don't even know. This is so stupid. Like, yeah. I mean, in my mind, I was. If this was blitz or bullet, I'm taking with the H pawn every time. But I thought, okay, let's just be open minded. What if I did take with the F pawn? Yes, it opens up my king, but the open F file for my rook might come in handy later. And if somehow black doubled up a battery on the H file, then I've got an escape route. But I just simply, I don't know, I might have been tired or something, but I just simply forgot that this is a renewed threat because queen takes d4 is now check. It was as soon as he took on d4, I was really, really angry at myself.
Were you worried that he would have something on the H file?
No, but but I thought I was just weighing the choices of F takes and H takes, and I thought potentially there might be something on the H file, and then also I get the open F file for my rook. So I thought, okay, let's go for that then.
Yeah, it was more because of the.
That was more of the greater influence over the decision.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, H takes G3. Yeah. If you're worrying about the H file here, you're looking too much into the future because it's not even close to happening. Yeah, I mean you're probably getting there first on the king side. You even have ways of counterfeiting his threats down the H file if they ever come to happen. It's really far away into the future, and H takes G3 is always but it's the most natural way of taking towards the center. Your king is actually safer because
that was my most annoying. I got annoyed at that move over any other move that I played in the whole tournament. Even though this doesn't actually have that big of an impact, really, it annoyed me the most because it was just such a stupid mistake. The other mistakes weren't so obvious, right? But this one is just so So I hated that.
Yeah. The problem is that your position becomes really hard to play. I know the engine says that it's about equal, or at least nothing terrible is happening to anyone. But it's much harder to play as white because your king is kind of exposed, and once he castles, he will have the two open files. I don't see a good way of preventing knight takes, pawn takes. Your king is really open. It's definitely not easy.
And my next move, I don't even know why I played that. The only thing I can say is I was blinded by rage of having played F takes G3, and I wasn't thinking clearly. I basically don't have to do anything here. I could just play C3 or a bunch of moves. I don't have to move my king. I don't know. I honestly think King H1 was kind of a tilt-induced move.
Yeah, you probably want to resolve the situation.
Yes.
Either you take or I take.
Yeah.
But yeah, still it's not so harmful. The problem is more or less the same. Your king is somewhat open. His is going to be safer. Maybe you can defend this, but it's going to be hard. I mean, Black's play is way more natural now. Queen d7, queen e2, black castles, bishop e4, so it looks natural. You're neutralizing that bishop. Rook h8, and yeah, there was another problem. I don't know if you were
I didn't even see it.
um,
Yeah, I don't know what
at
happened.
any point. Okay, okay, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, it's weird how bad I played this game. Before the round started, I was helping the organizers of the tournament by here we have COVID vaccine passports. And so I was scanning everybody's passport before they entered
No.
and then checking their ID and giving them bracelets to wear during the tournament and instructing them what I was just basically helping people register and enter the tournament. And I did that for an hour and a half right before the round, up
And then you
to
went.
yeah, up to like 10 seconds before the round. So I don't know if that messed me up. Maybe it didn't, but it's just kind of weird how I played. Like I made really weird mistakes, like really simple blunders. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of strange.
Yet it's, I mean, the position is far from hopeless. I mean, anything can happen here still. I mean, your position is still a bit harder to play, but um, this is now a real mistake. At least it's a weird
Yeah.
choice. And you mentioned whichever rook you choose, it will be the wrong one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that usually is the case. Uh, um, I know that rook a1 seems more natural, but I thought keeping the a rook there might help support pushing the a pawn. What do you think about this in retrospect? That's
Well, yeah. I mean, well, we just blundered G3, so I did not see that at all.
well, not yet, because after rook
Okay.
fd1, he still has to move the queen.
Yeah, but
But
now
let's
I'm removing one of my defenders. If I keep this rook here, it helps defend the G pawn and the H pawn. Yeah, I didn't even see the threat though is the problem. So I thought I could move that.
yeah.
It was really weird this game. The other rounds weren't like this. Like I made some mistakes in the other rounds, but these are like mistakes of a beginner almost. So it was really weird. I made three of them.
Yeah, you still weren't that aware of
No, I had no clue. I didn't
the
even.
perils of the two rooks
No.
there, because yeah, I mean, this idea of a future hypothetical, highly hypothetical a4 a5, yeah, it's. I mean, you can't evaluate the position in a vacuum. A4 a5 is not even close to happening, and he has the two rooks aiming towards your king. So yeah, probably you need to bring this one, and the other one has to stay at home to guard these pawns at least. And yeah, this is indeed more natural. But yeah, these long plans in which sometimes at some point maybe my a1 rook is going to support a4. Yeah, no, the evaluation should be more concrete. Okay, it's my turn to defend. I need this rook here, so the other one goes to the e file, or at least I don't know. I play something like rook g1. Well, rook f2 if you don't see rook. Rook takes g3. But the point is, yeah, a4 a5 is way far into the future, and you have more urgent problems here. Rook fd1, queen e7, bishop takes, king takes, queen e4 check. Yeah, it's a move that I mean, we all want to play queen e4 check. It's just too natural. But yeah, you need the defender. It's getting harder and harder, I guess. I don't know if rook to g1 and rook g2 should be the the defensive setup.
Maybe king g2 and rook h1 if I have to, or like king g2 h4.
Yeah, I wouldn't play h4 because this pawn would just suffer horribly. Now you want to keep everything as compact as possible. For example, king g2 looks like a real possibility. f5 with the threat queen h4 maybe. I don't know how much of a threat it is, but Maybe rook h1 then? It seems that you hold everything together. Putting the rook on g2 is another option. Then the king goes to g1. And you should be fine. I don't think he should have anything important here. It should be defensible, but it's a bit harder for you. So queen e4, yeah, you're just taking away more and more pieces from defense. And yeah, well, now this blunder, it's just too costly. He's probably better now. I mean, I guess that he has strong attack after rook g1, for example. What should he play?
Well, I don't know. I was looking at rook gh7, king. Well, h4, and then I was looking at f5, and I don't know. It seems okay for us.
Yeah, but again, h4 so weakening. If he ever plays this, and it looks like he will. You will be in so much trouble. Why not a bit more restrained? Rook g2 defending everything, maybe.
No, but I'm trying to see the issue again. So rook gh7. Sorry. So king g2. No, sorry. Rook gh7, and then h4, and then f5. And maybe queen d4.
Queen d4 loses to a strong tactic that yeah. It's black to play and win.
Oh, he can take on h4 twice, and then the queen is protecting h4. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really stay on the 4th rank because of that. I guess that if you go to e3, for example, he can just go back, for example, to g7, and he's threatening all kind of stuff. For example, check and checkmate.
Actually, can't he just go? If I went queen e3, can he just go rook h4?
It has to be calculated.
Yeah.
Though. G takes.
And then queen takes check. King g2.
King g2.
Okay, I guess I can slip out. Yeah. Okay.
Looks like he can escape. But you're overextending terribly with h4.
Okay.
For example,
you hate h4. Okay.
Yeah, I think you might be losing already. The queen has to go somewhere. Even e5 looks.
What about e1? Queen e1.
Queen e1.
Yeah, X-ray.
I guess f4 should be. Yeah, quite critical. This pawn is falling apart.
Okay, that's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, normally if you start pushing these pawns, he will be able to play some break, some sacrifice even. But the rook g2 is way healthier.
Okay.
You just keep everything together. You don't touch the pawns in front of the king. And I know, I mean, he seems to be attacking, and he's going to put pressure on you, but it's far from hopeless. I mean, he still has to win this, and it's not like he's going to be relentless or anything. He has to be accurate. This king can also become a target.
Yeah, we have queen e2, a4.
Queen e2 now.
Yeah, queen e2, and then a4.
and then play knight for a4. Yeah.
Yeah, or rook a d1. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's playable. I might still take black, but you're not losing or anything. Not even close. Maybe there's something better here. I don't know, queen c5, if the idea of this transfer, or queen f2. But I mean, still you have rook g2, and your defense is pretty solid still. Nothing out of the ordinary. Rook d2, and then, well, yeah, when this pawn falls, then it's just becomes too hard. Rook d7. You said you consider queen c6?
I did, yeah.
But
I
thought it was pointless because of this.
Yeah. And also queen c5.
Queen c6, queen c5 right now.
Yeah. Well. I think first rook c8 and then queen c5, and then I thought it didn't really make a big difference, so then I just went with the more immediate rook d7.
Queen c6, rook c8, rook d7, queen c5, and after the exchanges, you don't win this pawn?
Okay, yeah, I guess I do. So then maybe just queen c5 right away, and I give him double pawns there, but I thought either way. See, I would have given him double pawn. So if I go queen c6, queen c5, and queen takes c5, b takes c5, and then rook d7, I don't get the pawn. But if I play rook d7 right away, I get the pawn. So I think that's what made my choice ultimately.
Yeah, the only problem is that after queen c5, he's really threatening to invade.
Right, yeah.
And you have to go back.
I missed that until he played it, yeah.
Yeah, now I'm not so sure about queen g5. Yeah, you still have some activity. I mean, it's not so easy for him. And I'm not sure of the value of giving up this pawn. Maybe he had to play rook g7, I don't know, with this idea, or rook here. Because I don't know if there's much to rook d8. I mean, you just exchange, and king b7. I don't know. Yeah, rook g7 looks fine. I mean, you can't go here because there's rook takes h2 followed by this checkmate. So, yeah, I don't know if he needs to give up this pawn, because this is still pretty unclear to me. Rook f to d7. Oh, and after the exchanges, he gave you this check. Was this completely forced?
No, I think I was debating
yeah, he seems to be invading, but
I think I was also debating if I want to play rook 1 d7, and
yeah, it probably ends in the same, because he's going to take and then play queen c1 check, which...
Yeah, that was one thing. And I think he might also... He might win a pawn if I do it. Yeah, I saw that. But he might also win a pawn if I play rook 1 d7. Possibly he goes rook takes h2.
But he can even take, and it leads to the same variation as rook f d7, because we just exchange.
Yeah, yeah. But if I go here, right, he might have rook h2.
Rook takes.
Oh wait,
Queen
sorry,
takes.
no, sorry, sorry, I thought that would work. No, okay, yeah. So I don't know. It's
Yeah, there are some dangers here, but still, it's it's not so easy. For example, do you consider Rook G1?
no, no, I don't think so. I mean, I might have glanced at it for 2 seconds, but no real consideration.
Kind of stepping out of it.
Uh, what about maybe Rook is Rook D2?
Rook D2. Rook takes.
What?
Oh, with there, Rook takes G5.
Yeah, and then yeah, Rook takes E2, threatening mate.
And then there's
Oh, and then
only
Rook G2. Okay.
yeah, seems to be enough to hold because if Rook
Yeah.
E1, you always have Rook G1, and you can follow him. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Queen H5, you can take here, so that's not an option. Queen F4 is a bit scary though. Queen F4 is scary. That one I'm not so sure about. Yeah, you're in a tricky situation. This is coming apparently. I don't know for how much time you can. Yeah. Yeah, I guess as long as he keeps in touch with his pawn, this is still strong. Yeah, apparently this is quite hard to keep together. So after this, you just lose the pawn. Yeah, and rook there. Well, yeah, your king is way too open, and
My pawns are just disgusting.
Yeah, and the pawns are all over the place.
Yeah.
He played well. He was a bit lucky because of this that he didn't see, but he also has an 8 pound, so
Yeah,
really
yeah,
lucky about
yeah. He got really scared of this.
I mean, yeah, from here on he played well, I guess. I mean, I've seen the conclusion of the game, and he's 2 pounds up. You did good to keep playing this because it's not.
Yeah, I know
queens over the board.
Yeah, queen and pawn endgames can be very annoying. So I played a little bit.
Yeah, but now this other pawn fell.
Well, I was hoping for a stalemate. I thought, and he got almost kind of close where I could, give up the queen somehow. So,
oh.
Yeah, that's why I kept playing. And he actually almost did stalemate me. And he told me that he
was close.
Yeah, it was very close actually. So, but then I'm losing anyway, but one of the things I'm trying to do a bit more is be more resilient. So not resign as soon as possible and just play a little bit longer. So
yeah, exactly.
I did resign eventually, but I mean there was
to lose in any case.
Yeah, there was a game not too long ago. I think it was the World Rapid and Blitz. Somebody played against Geary, and then it was queen and 2 pawns versus queen against Geary.
Yeah.
And then Geary won. He checkmated. You know that game? So
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so I thought
to be painful.
Yeah. So I thought, yeah, just play it out a little bit. You never know. He's going to win anyway, so he shouldn't mind.
In a Title Tuesday, I think it was in Title Tuesday, I lost queen plus 3 pounds against queen. Yeah.
Ooh.
I got into a checkmate net.
What? Really?
Yeah,
So
I was 3 pounds up, and yeah, it was the time scramble, and I was playing instantly, and I got into a checkmate net.
is the title Tuesday? Is that increment?
Yeah, 1 second.
Oh,
It's
okay,
one
I still got.
second.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
that's gotta hurt though. That's gotta,
yeah,
oh.
yeah. It was painful. um, yeah, I mean, the last game, probably your sense of danger was a bit off, which is, I think, somewhat what happened. We're going to see. You're going to tell me exactly what
Oh,
what
this
you
game,
were
you know,
thinking
this
about
game,
this.
I don't mind losing because I just got completely obliterated. I underestimated rook h3, and then I forgot that my f7 square was undefended. But honestly, I didn't really mind losing too much just because it was such a complete knockout that I deserved to lose and he deserves to win. You know what I mean? Like some losses are more painful than others. This one, it's not so painful to me because.
Yeah, it was clear that he knew the scheme, and you weren't aware of the plans as he was, and that's always a problem. It's easy to go astray in these situations. You mentioned that you don't have knight BD2 in your repertoire. No one does. I mean, no, no, not with this excruciating detail. This is, let's say, a scheme. This is a setup by White. He's going to play bishop d3, b3, bishop b2. Do you know what this is called?
No.
This is the Zuckertort.
Okay.
Putting a bishop on d3, the bishop on b2. It's just, I mean, you have the King's Indian attack for White with e4. Well, this is, yeah, a construction. I mean, White can play this against pretty much anything.
Okay.
Playing d4. And the plans he did play in this game, well, typical ones. Yeah, a3 is not necessary right now. I mean, it's a precaution you take as White in some variations so that Black, for example, doesn't exchange the dark square bishops like this. So it might transpose, but it's a bit too early to play it. It's not so easy to exploit. I mean, White is going to get in all his regular moves in any case. Bishop d3, d5. You were hesitant to play d5. You mentioned.
Because
yeah,
I don't like
avoiding-
Queen's Gambit transpositions or even similar type of setups. Yeah, I just find it so boring and dry. It's, but I just thought it was the safest decision here because I wasn't so familiar with this position, and I didn't want to have to deal with e4. So I played d5. Yeah.
Makes sense. The other way is putting pressure in the center with c5.
Yeah.
Though, of course, he can always play c3 and then try to play e4. In this case, a3 might come in handy because if you play knight c6, now he can play e4, and if c takes, you don't have knight b4, for example, which is sometimes annoying. So the a3 pawn is doing something, I guess. You can also play ball. Let's say c takes d after e4, and play d6, knight b d7. And then you're going to prepare d5 and knight e4, for example. But your decision is also, and this is the easiest. There's nothing wrong with it, of course. b3. Yeah, this is what surprised you. Yeah, clearly he was going for Zucker. It's a bit harmless in the way he played it. I mean, this a3 is, well, makes no sense for the setup you chose, I guess. Knight b d7, he castled. You played well. I mean, playing natural move pays off in any case. Knight e5. And yeah, the setup includes f4, queen f3 or rook f3, queen h3 or rook h3, and yeah, some sacrifice on h7 and checkmate. That's White's general idea. It kind of resembles the London in that sense. I mean, sometimes you play bishop f4.
Yeah, it's very
Bishop
similar, except the
f4.
bishop is on b2 instead of f4.
Yeah, that gives extra ideas. For example, sometimes d takes c5 is a thing to open up both bishops when it works tactically. This comment is interesting. You consider knight e4, which is a key defensive resource in this type of situation.
Yeah, I had you in mind. Yeah, I had you in mind when I was thinking about that. Even over the board, you know, you were sitting on my shoulder here, little Alessandro, and it's like, Tyler, 94. The double pawns are not too bad. So I was thinking about it. I just felt slightly uncomfortable playing it because I haven't had that much experience with the pawns on d4 and d6. But it was something I considered, and then I think I played it a couple moves later.
Yeah. The only problem is that the move you make kind of compromises your position a bit. This move is maybe the root of your problems, even though, I mean, the engine doesn't think it's so bad because it finds tactical resources for you, but the move makes your life harder. I mean, bishop b5 is now a thing, as it happened in the game. f7 is a bit soft, and the rook is not doing much on e8 in any case. You can play rook c8, for example, makes a lot of sense. So there's no invasions, it sits, I mean, like ever. All the ideas, I mean, you can play knight e4, and you can even take and play knight e4. I mean, you're not the only one getting double pounds in any case. So
okay, so this is you now. This is your game. What are you playing?
I would be debating myself between this and taking and playing knight e4. I still don't see any clear dangers for you, in the sense that, for example, I'm not afraid of f4. In fact, I would love him to play f4 before I play this.
Because there's no break then.
Good. Yeah. Rook c8 looks good. a5 is also a move. Just to play a4, sometimes bishop a6 in some variations. It's quite natural. But knight e4 is my go-to move. It's just easy. I don't know. You're not facing any problems, and it makes sense because this is an extra move he made, which wasn't really necessary at all. So yeah, knight e4. The double pounds are not that bad because they increase your bishop scope, and you have d5 for your pieces after that. And the pawn on e4.
Sorry. What do you mean exactly by the increase my bishop scope? Just because there's one less, because we have the d file now.
You have d5. d5 is quite an interesting square for your pieces when you start attacking on the queen side, which is your main goal here. At some point you start moving your queenside pawns forward, and d5 is quite a decent square for the bishop. Other than that, if he wants to play against your e4 pawn, at some point he has to trade it or something, and your bishop becomes alive. Meanwhile, the pawn on e4 kind of for example, how would you take on e4? Probably with knight. Then d takes, and now what? Bishop b5 maybe. It's in the game.
Well, okay.
Something like this. Now you can take and you double his pawns too, which is fine.
And then what would we do with our dark squared bishop here? Put it on g7?
Not sure. I mean, this could become a sensitive square. But I think the bishop is quite fine defending. This sits above all things. I know it's pretty lame, but you could take and play rook d8 and you're out of danger. I mean, this should be completely equal. I don't know, rook d8. Nothing's going to come out of it. You can still play for a win, of course. I don't know, f5. and then try to put the queenside pawns.
But I guess the
Should work. I mean,
I guess the main thing
yeah.
and this is what I kind of thought at the time, but I still have to get more comfortable with it. I guess the main thing is that this kind of stranded double pawn is really not necessarily a weakness here. No more than this one is for white.
Yeah, they both look really much alike. And you do have a plan. I don't know. You can start launching your queenside pawns if you want to play this for a win. And the pawn e4 really limits him to, and it's not so easy to fight against it. Maybe it's a bit dry. I know. Otherwise,
What if he tucks his bishop back here and then plays an f3 break?
well, then you solve your double pawns.
So like here,
Let's say queen c7, f3.
yeah. Okay, f3.
F3 is a bit awkward. He's not going to take. I guess f4, but then you can take too. And then how is he going to take there?
Queen.
With the bishop? I wouldn't just to this, even though these
is
pawns
too
are
bad.
ugly now. They're a bit more exposed.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wouldn't even rush to take on f3. I'll probably play this first, win a tempo. And then try to take over the d file.
Okay.
He's running out of pieces to attack on the king side. But yeah, rook e8 is, well, it doesn't fit in any other plan.
Yeah, it showed that I'm familiar with the position. Yeah, it showed that I don't know what to do. I'm playing it like a royal pledge for black. I mean,
and now you play 94.
Yeah.
Now you do play 94.
Yeah, well, part of my decision is because he played f4, so he can't kick out the knight. That was part of my decision. Yeah. And then I think I was also worried about g4.
Nervous about this?
Yeah, I was nervous about that.
And why not wait until he plays it and then you put the knight here in that case?
I was still nervous about this, g4, and then I'm still, I don't know, his queen is close by and his knight. I felt quite uneasy about that, and he got a couple bishops. I was really nervous about.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe you should be more nervous about queen f3 not allowing you to play 94 in the future, because g4 it can still come after 94. It's not going to change things much, but he's probably wanting to take 94 away from you, take that possibility away, which is an interesting idea here also. For example, queen f3 right away without playing f4 is sometimes a thing. So then he transferred the queen, and it's not so easy to play 94 anymore because of this. It's an idea, but f4 is the natural move.
You know, later in the tournament, this opponent, Jose Prem, played my previous opponent. Who do you think? What was the result? What do you think? So my first round opponent against my second round opponent. I know it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell from one game.
Yeah, I'll say one.
Sorry.
Prem. This.
No, he lost. Yeah, so the unrated beat this guy. Yeah.
Oh.
A little surprising because I actually thought Jose Prem, because he actually played quite well, and the first round opponent, he made some mistakes in the opening, so yeah, a little surprising, but yeah, you know, there were 218 people at that tournament, which and I live in I'm in a small city in Canada. It's not very populous here, so.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and you know, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I think we would have had at least 300 people. It's really, chess is really, really booming. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I don't mean that 94 is not a good move. I mean it's the move you really want to make in any case. But after bishop b5, yeah, you have to go back, which is not terrible in the sense that this bishop also went out of its way. I mean, for the attack, the bishop is necessary here. But now you have to be more cautious because this maneuver of going back and forth, well, it should make you a bit suspicious. And now you do have to consider this stuff that can become dangerous really quickly. And you played rook c8, and you mentioned I had considered a6, but didn't like giving up a bishop for a knight. Hence, rook c8. What concretely did you see here? What? I mean, a6 and then what?
Oh, a6 and then knight c6 and then bishop c6, bishop c6. I didn't like that. I'm greedy with my bishops.
And you stopped there?
Yeah. And I
because
didn't.
This bishop is kind of trapped.
And then the rook c8, and then is it trapped there?
Rook c8 loses the pawn to bishop b7, and bishop takes.
Oh, right. Queen c7 then. Okay.
So A6,
yeah, so he's got a bit of time, I guess.
But just a normal move, rook b8.
And then he's got to find a way out, dig a way out. Could he play? Maybe then DC and then b4.
DC. Well, you can take with the bishop or with the pawn in that case.
Yeah, and then b. If we take with the bishop, then he has b4, and then he can escape bishop a4.
Yeah. Though if you have to go to a4 and then maybe b3, it's not such an awesome bishop in any case.
Yeah.
But d takes c, you can also take b takes c. And the bishop is going, I mean, he's not going to lose the bishop. But the bishop is quite awkward. I mean, if you have to stay there on c6, then go back to a4, I think you can live with that. Maybe you stopped a bit too early in this variation, because I see that you didn't consider this and how the bishop was going to fare there on c6.
Yeah.
It turns out he has to make some, he has to compromise a bit just to get it out. I mean, d takes c5 is a concession. It's quite an.
No, I agree. I think I did stop too early. Just once I see that I lose the bishop, I'm like, yeah.
And that's a problem, because that's going to that's going to cost you a lot of flexibility, and you might end up choosing more dangerous variations because you're not willing to enter a type of position. But there are no types of positions. There are just positions, in the sense that the train of thought has to be more concrete necessarily. In this case, I think this position you do really well in this one. It's not so intuitive how to play this as white. I mean, going all the way back to a4 is really strange. D takes c, even bishop takes, b4. Let's say we go back to e7. And then what? b5? But the bishop gets stranded there forever. It's a bit odd. If bishop a4, you can even play b5 yourself, and this is not a reaction anymore. It's hard. I mean, it's really natural to have this bishop here. So yeah, I think something to think about and maybe work on is the fact that on many occasions you just see the general idea. I mean, okay, I'm losing the bishop pair, and you just stop.
Yeah.
But
the end.
Yeah, and a6 is a move that that'll be very good for you if this didn't work right, because he has to go back. Now you can go back to e4 again, basically stopping the attack. It's a nice blockade there. So yeah, it's a move it's something you want to accomplish. I mean, the fact that you consider it and you rejected it because of this means that it was a move you, on principle, you would want to make. And rook c8, yeah, it's just too much prep. It kind of takes forever. And now he played rook h3. Yeah, now he's threatening real stuff. And yeah, now you just went for it. And f7 was also under attack after the trades. And queen h5. You can still hold here, but you were already decided on this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess g6, something like that. I mean, it's a bit awkward now, but it's sort of playable. Yeah. Again, the sense of danger off. Well, let's go with the last defeat of the series of defeats. But I mean, the first game was quite close, in the sense that you weren't losing or anything. There were just these little mistakes that were kind of deteriorating your position in a steady way, and your opponent played well. But yeah, this second one was more about not knowing about the plan. But you were all right. I mean, your opponent didn't play so decisively either. And you were all right up to the very end, I guess. But one problem was the lack of flexibility, in the sense that, okay, I can play a6 here. I would have made your life much easier. So, okay, this one is this one is the dragon.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So okay, we can basically skip all this because it's very theoretical, and it seems like you were already aware of it.
But I don't get much practice against the dragon, because at my level, hardly anybody plays it. Everyone plays the Najdorf or a different Sicilian. But yeah, not many people play the dragon. So I don't get enough practice against it.
I used to play it when I was a kid, and I got tired of mating or getting checkmated, so so I dropped it. D5, well, he's playing all the theoretical moves. And now it takes, there are other options here, but it takes is the
this is part of this is still my repertoire.
By far. Knight takes e6, b takes, and you play bishop before. And e5, I think e5 is the main theoretical move. He took and played queen b6.
Yeah, and this is where I was out of my prep. Yeah, because e5 is more common, as you said, and so this is where he actually knew theory more than me, which is a little rare. But I can pretty much guarantee you I don't think I'll ever forget this. That's the benefit of playing over the board, because I don't think I'll ever forget move 13 on this line in the future.
Yeah, I mean, this plan is hard to come by if you don't actually know the position. It's really, even if you see the move, it's a bit hard to actually get to do it over the board. But still, this is all right. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Maybe he equalized, but that it's still a playable end game. Nothing much is going to happen. This is a good conceptual move. I like it. Fits in the pawns on the light squares. Bishop b7, f4. Okay.
I know. Almost getting carried away with that idea. I know. But I thought I could still play it though.
Yeah, it still doesn't look terrible. I was thinking about something like bishop b5, just to get the rook 3-1 somehow.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, then afterwards you can consider f4, g3 to
What about
hold the
rook
pawn to the
a5?
square. Sorry, bishop b5.
Oh, and then we have a4, right? Okay.
Yeah, rook a5, a4.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, in retrospect, it made sense because after f4 he has this.
Yeah.
Activating.
That was weird. That was. I got really scared for a second when he played that.
But very well played by him too, because this is clearly the way of getting counterplay here. G3, and now rook e4. He might have evaluated that your d pawn was going to be weak, but that's definitely not the case. I mean, if anyone has chances here, that's you. Your pawn structure is better. You have the 2 against this one. It's going to be really hard for him to modify this structure. I mean, all his pawns are on light squares. So yeah, this seems pretty. d4 is. I guess he has to settle for e6. Playing d4 here, this pawn looks like a very possible victim.
Yeah.
In the near future. Rook e1, e6. I'm kind of skipping this because they're all natural moves. Yeah. I mean, all of these were going to be played or something very similar, but now you do need a plan because it's not. I mean, he doesn't have a way of invading through the c file. Your king takes care of everything, but you need to push those queenside pawns forward and activate your rook somehow. And you played bishop e4 here. What was bishop e4 about?
Well, because I tried forever. Well, first of all, I mean, the most natural move here is rook c1, but we'll just drop a pawn. So then I was really trying to capitalize on the fact that we have this pass pawn possibility, and so I was really trying to make a4 work. But I missed the computer's idea, which is lovely. I wish I would have seen it because, so I had kept calculating this over and over. I was looking at a4, b5, a5, b4, and then after that, I just didn't like that my pawns were now split and that my pawn is also on a dark square. And I didn't see the idea of rook c1, king c1, bishop e3 with the idea of bishop b7 escorting our pawn home. And it's too bad because I had seen, if I had just looked 1 or 2 moves farther, I would have seen that. And I spent a lot of time here too. I was really trying to make a4 work. But I didn't quite see far enough, unfortunately. So I mean, because I really thought a long time because I had a sense that white had a bit of an edge here, again, because of these 2 pawns. And also this bishop is misplaced, I feel, because he can't really move. He's almost trapped there. So again, I thought that this was kind of a key moment. And it was a key moment because a4 was kind of good. But at the end of the day, I couldn't figure a way to improve, so I just settled with bishop e4.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, that variation looks really good. But b5 being a problem, for example, did you consider something like rook e5?
Yeah, I did. But then what?
So that afterward.
Oh yeah, so
yeah, with the idea of playing a4.
Yeah, I did think about that. Maybe it was rook c5. I wasn't sure about.
Rook c5.
And even if not
That's
rooks,
a good you can take.
even if not,
Maybe a4.
yeah, even if not rook c5, because I did give this a little bit of consideration, but I don't know. It just felt like maybe he brings king to e7 and then f. I know that takes a lot of moves, but I just wasn't
Yeah,
super
but
confident about rook e5. I thought it might be possibly getting into trouble. I didn't really see a clear plan for it.
yeah, my idea is to play a4 and then b4.
I was a little bit worried about rook c6 if I push the b pawn. Rook c3, I mean,
b5.
yeah. But even I don't know, bishop. Well, okay, bishop c8, I guess.
c8. Yeah, it's a bit murky, to be honest. Yeah, I was thinking rook e4, but then there's rook a3, and this is a problem. Another idea is rook a1.
I looked at
a4
I strongly I looked at that, but then I thought there was something specific I didn't like about that. I did think about rook a1 though, for sure.
It's a shame you couldn't complete the calculation of this variation with bishop b7 because a4 is, I mean, it's looking really good. It's a useful move, and yeah, b5 you can refute it tactically.
Yeah, I think rook a1. I think it was just the same issue. Rook a1, a5, b4, or b5. I mean, and then I didn't really know how to continue from there.
Yeah, and a5, b4. Yeah, rook a4, rook b8. He still holds somehow. Yeah, but still the advantage is kind of steady. I mean, even though you lose some time here going back and forth.
Yeah, I don't
know why he goes back. I don't know. What about this?
I guess he was considering a draw, and then he changed his mind.
In any case, you play rook c7 and don't take the king.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah, and now rook c7.
Yeah, I was really shocked. Yeah.
Bishop g2, king f6, bishop f4, and now that rook b7. That bishop b7. Sorry, I think this rook endgame is. It should be good for you. Bishop takes, rook takes, and now a4. Yeah, and you missed that his king was going to be much more active than yours. But what about now? What do you think you should play?
I think I could just cut off the king right away with rook e5. But I think there's multi moves. I maybe king e2 or rook e5 or rook c1. All look like good options. Maybe not rook. Yeah, I was just going to say not rook e2. He gets the axe. So yeah, either rook e5 or rook c1. I think are equally good.
Yeah, rook c1 you still have to consider this.
Is he no? But I'm okay there. I guess. Well, he's active, but my rook is more active than his.
Yeah. Rook e5 is by far the easiest, I guess. I mean, no counterplay whatsoever. Your plan is just to play the rook to b5 and then start pushing the a and b pawns. This is a very annoying endgame for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think here I might have been going for this plan.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get to f3 and e4, this is tough for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a way to invade with the rook, which is probably his main problem. The fact that he can't really activate this rook is going to make it harder.
This was a tough loss, this game. This one felt bad.
Yeah, because you were doing great for the most part. Yeah, a4 is the real mistake. I mean, now king f5.
Well, no, the real mistake comes.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, this is still holdable, but you're holding.
Yeah, I'm working for the draw now. Yeah. B3 really shocked me when he played rook c7. I couldn't believe that there's no way that I had nothing. I couldn't defend, and I had no counterplay. It was ridiculous.
Now he has c3 for the rook.
Yeah, that was so weird. My king is overloaded, which is so strange. Not so common. That was really, really weird.
Yeah. With this, you still can make use of both pawns. I mean, you have him on his toes, because any kind of activity by this rook, then the a pawn rolls. So he doesn't really get the time, I guess.
Yeah, this was a really tough.
Incredible. After b3, now this, and rook c3, incredible. But you're just not in time.
Yeah.
Rook e3. Yeah, this was a tough loss because you were crushing it.
Well, and he's 1400 and he's black, and he had that draw which he declined, which was really surprising, because I mean that position is better for white, like where when he played rook c7, back in that position, and I'm 100 points higher than him. I beat him in our last game. I'm white, and well, the color doesn't really matter, but I'm higher rated. But yeah, he pushed for a win, and that was upsetting. And then at this stage, now I'm 0 for 3 in the tournament. So it didn't feel good.
Yeah, this was a bit of overconfidence on his part, but it paid off. But he wasn't doing particularly good in this position, which is really strange that he goes for it in this situation.
Right. Yeah. And he didn't really hesitate either. It's not like he thought for a long time and it's like, I'm going to try to push for a win. He played quickly. Very surprising. So that was tough.
I mean, it was a rough start, but you got good positions. Other than the second game, you were generally ahead. But I mean, the games weren't. I mean, the result doesn't go that well with how the games developed in general, because just looking at the games, it's strange that you are 0 out of those 3 games. I don't think it would normally happen in general.
What do you mean? What do you mean exactly?
Just looking at the games, I wouldn't think you got 0 points out of those 3 games, because in 2 of them you were better. You didn't play bad at all.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a friend at the tournament, and actually at this tournament, we are now allowed to get up and walk around. I remember the last time we weren't allowed, but COVID is slowly dying down, so we're allowed to do that again. And I had a friend who would occasionally walk and look at my games, and whenever he comes and look, I always have a really good position, but then I always lose. And he's like, what happened? It's kind of funny, because whenever he comes, I always have a great position, and then 0 on the thing. After that game, a player got caught cheating, and he got caught and kicked out. using the phone in the bathroom.
Oh.
And very blatant. It's his first tournament. Well, he played in the online tournaments, and just crushing everyone, like national masters, crushing them, like. And then this is his first tournament over the board. He plays in the premier section, the open section, and yeah. So he lost the first game, but he was winning, and then he lost on the clock. He lost that, and he played really bad in the end game because he can't cheat. So it's very.
Everyone was suspicious for
Some people were, not everyone knew about him, but even before he came, the organizers and the TD were keeping a close eye on him because his online play was very suspicious.
He was doomed from the very beginning.
Yeah, so at least he got caught, and he's we won't see him again. So
he wasn't creative. I mean, he
didn't even try. Yeah, he didn't even.
The phone on the bathroom. I mean, the most overused way of cheating.
Yeah, and then he goes every move. He'll go bathroom every move. Oh, come on, man. And yeah, yeah. And then, like, as soon as his opponent moves, yeah, he goes. So stupid. Yeah. But I don't think there was any other suspicion. It was just him, and he was already suspicious before he even arrived. Yeah.
Yeah. No. This was a draw. Okay. It's always good to make a draw to heal the wounds when things are not going well. This was King's Indian attack on his part. You played Bishop D6, yeah?
Yeah, this game was actually, I think out of all the games in the tournament, this one I really didn't know what to do. The whole game, pretty much. So strategically, I didn't know what to do. And I talked to my opponent after the game, and it was the same. So it was kind of an annoying game for both of us because it was, strategically we didn't really know how to proceed, and it was also not a fun game. But yeah, this one I was making like moves that I felt were logical, but strategically I had no clue what to do.
Well, I mean, in spite of that, you were doing fine for most of the game. I mean, you didn't get caught in any kind of terrible trouble. Yeah, Bishop D6 is not best. There's Bishop C5 here. But that's a small detail. This doesn't ruin anything. And this King's Indian attack setup he's aiming for against E5 is not great. I mean, he's not going for any objective advantage or anything. C6, knight Gf3, castles. This is, well, again, you're fighting against a setup by white. He's just making a lot of normal moves. C3. You gave a lot of thought to your moves up to this point. You say you were down to 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
I know. Because I'm out of book, right? I'm out of my repertoire. So I dig deep, because to me, the worst feeling in chess, or one of the worst, is losing out of the opening. So I'm always extra cautious in the opening.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between being out of book on move 10 in a Najdorf than being out of book here, because both of you are out of book. I mean, in these setups, normally you just know the general plans where the pieces go. If your opponent is still in theoretical territory here, I'll be very surprised. And he's just making regular moves within his setup, and that's it. I positively sure he doesn't know games by heart from this point. Or yeah, I mean, you don't need to spend that much time in this, because I mean, you're not dropping anything. How many options are there? There are a lot, um, but it's not like he's. Um, it's not such a sharp position that anything bad can happen to you, really. Uh, and as things went, I think that's about right. I mean, he plays c3, which is again normal in this setup, to take control of d4. You exchange, and you're right, this symmetrical pawn structure, almost symmetrical. You play knight b6, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird, I know. But yeah, it was partly to resolve that knight. It's kind of in transition, and then yeah, it also protects against knight c4.
Looks effective though. I have to say, I mean, I visually don't like it, because I would prefer c5 for the knight, but it's not bad. I mean, this knight has no job apart from playing knight c4. As an option, you have queen c7, because if he goes to c4, then you can just drop back to f8 and you're completely fine. Yeah, I know these setups are a bit annoying, and they are a bit boring at times. I think it's key not to ask too much from your position. You just need to find good squares for your pieces. That's why I found this move a bit odd.
Yeah, so I had no idea what to do. I had no clue. So any insight you have in this position would be great. I mean, I guess I could still just play a move like queen c7.
Part of the setup, yeah, the queen on c7 is out of the d file. Then you can put the bishop maybe on e6. a5, a4 looks good with this knight on b6, I have to say. a5 is a normal part of the setup, just to win some space, grabbing some space on the queen side. Then it's easier to put a piece on c5 also, the bishop, for example, with no b4 coming. So yeah, a5, queen c7, there are many decent options. But the game is going to be a bit slow, a bit maneuvery in a sense. You just need to find decent spots for your pieces and hope for the best. And maybe, yeah, grab some space on the queen side when you can. Because white has the same problem as you, which is encouraging. I mean, the position is identical for both. The structures are the same.
It's so dull. It's such a dull position to play, though. you know what I mean? Like,
good thing is you equalize completely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it from a opening theory perspective, you're fine.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to do anything spectacular to achieve full equality, which is good. I mean, anything can happen from this position, of course, and whoever plays the best is going to win. But g6 is a bit odd. Your plan was to play bishop f8 and put it on g7.
That was one option, but it was the main reason is because I didn't really know what to do. And I already used up a lot of clock time. I didn't want to spend too much time thinking. And then the second reason was I was slightly concerned about knight h4.
Okay, in that case, wait until he plays knight h4 to play g6, because the knight on h4 is really offside. He'll probably have to go back if you play g6. So why play it right now to avert a threat that is not a threat, actually. Even letting it into f5 without other pieces around it is not such a terrible thing. You can play bishop f8 and maybe push it back.
That's so scary, though. That is so scary. Okay, yeah.
Even if you don't want to let it in, then you play g6, but at least wait for him to play knight h4, because he's I mean, it really doesn't look like a threat here. For example, I could play queen c7 and not think about this as, oh, he's threatening knight h4. So far away from creating any actual threats. Knight h4, then I could consider playing g6.
Okay.
But the plan of bringing the bishop to g7 is quite odd because your bishop is obstructed by the a5 pawn.
Yeah. The thing is, I really hated this bishop the whole game. I resented putting it there because I'm like, what am I doing with this bishop? It's completely pointless. And
How about c5 for the bishop?
a5. Oh, a5 first. Yeah.
In any case, you can go back to f8, and believe it or not, the bishop is not badly placed on f8 because it has its influence on the queen side. It's not in the way, so the rook is still defending e5.
Yeah, I was actually considering bishop f8. It was actually one of my considerations. Yeah.
I mean, if you can't keep it on c5 because, well, somehow he kicks it out or something, then you can drop back to f8 and it's still fine. I mean, the bishop, it's not going to be awesome. It's not going to win the game or anything, but it's a decent piece. It's not terrible or anything. He has the same problem. In fact, he goes the other way around. You want to play the bishop to g7 and he tries to get it off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Playing bishop f1.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but in this case, if you play this, you're just making the bishop worse. At least I think so. It's
I had no idea what I was doing.
Bishop f1. This is typical though.
Oh, okay.
Bringing this bishop, yeah, because there's nothing left to do after d takes e, d takes c. A bishop on g2 or g7 is just going to be obstructed. So. Well, it better play on the queen side or the center, if possible. So queen c7, that's all right. I mean, still, this doesn't ruin anything because the position is so quiet. Knight c4, knight takes, bishop takes, b5, very good. Bishop f1, and now you go back to f8. Now you can go to c5. It looks interesting, at least.
I had to justify g6.
Like he can say the same. This is less than ideal. a4 is, it can be annoying because a6 is not an option now because of this rook hanging, but you always have this tactic. You can play bishop g4 first. Do you see that one? After bishop f8, it's the same. After e4, what do you do now?
I don't know what you were getting at with bishop g4.
You connect the rooks just in time for you to play a6 afterwards. I guess that's the main point. Otherwise, this would be quite annoying. Because he seems to be destroying your pawn structure on the queen side. You consider? Do you consider a4?
No.
At some point.
Yeah, I guess we have to play like rook b8 or something.
Yeah, but that would be quite annoying for you. This 8 pawn is going to suffer most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less than ideal. But with this intermediate
b4,
you can play a6 afterwards.
What about b4 instead of bishop?
What do you think about that one? b4.
It's interesting.
It's leaving some.
I mean, the c pawn is pretty ugly.
c4 is.
But we take with tempo though. Take again.
Yeah, I think you're going to have some issues with the half open file and the c4.
Wait a second. I thought we won a pawn there. I miscalculated. I thought we won a pawn somehow.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, we just traded
Okay.
pawns
Okay.
before.
Yeah. No, I hate it then. Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, you do have this, and you get to keep your structure intact. Because if bishop g2 or bishop e2, then a6. If he takes, you can even take with the a pawn. So you're pretty safe here, I guess. And now if c4, then you can play b4, I guess. Then it would be ideal to put the bishop on c5 and block this pawn, but
Or we could just do
at least
nothing.
What?
Oh, well, I would say, or I could just ignore it, but he might have c5 then. Yeah, probably
Yeah,
c5 is enough.
things.
I don't think he can take. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still. Yeah, this rook is still hanging. True.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
c5 would be bad if I don't. c5 would be very annoying, I think. He gets like b4, bishop e3. Okay.
Yeah, and once you play b4, this is harder because then it's harder to defend the c5 pawn too. Yeah. So bishop f8 is fine. Bishop c5 was an option, I guess. Bishop g5. Kind of weird. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a terrible move, but the bishop on g5 is it's not in a great place. Bishop g7, rook a d1, bishop g4. It's almost the same position for both. Bishop c1, rook a d8. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dry. But I'll still take your position because you're more active on the queen side. I mean, it's
A little more space.
Totally symmetrical, but you have this b5 in. You're going to play a5, bishop e3, maybe a5 now. I don't know. Looks tempting at least. I'll be tempted to play something like this. I mean, it's completely symmetrical, but you do have a little space advantage on the queen side, so you can play for something here. Maybe you're probably going to drop the bishop back to f8.
I
so
think
both bishops have.
I might have been nervous of a4.
A4. The good thing is that now he's not really threatening anything because there's no rook on the a file, so we don't have to react like right now. Think. We could play bishop f8. I'm also considering trading on d1. Queen b7 even? No, queen b7. We're just dropping this one. Everything seems to be defending. Yeah.
It might get too complicated. I was going to say if queen b7, if he takes, we do have. I thought we had bishop h3, but then he might have another desperado, maybe. So it gets complicated.
Yeah, there's also this. We probably need to take first.
Yeah.
But something that improves your position slightly looks fine. I mean, I like this plan to bring the knight to c5 now. Supported by the bishop. This pawn is supported, so even rook a1 is not really that troublesome. At least you have a clear plan now. Bishop f1 also comes into consideration, though. Yeah, rook b8, we're still holding everything. Oh no, it looks interesting. A6 is also fine. I mean, you're doing okay. A4. You play the rook d7. If he takes, you are going to take with the knight, I guess. Knight d2. Rook e to d8. Knight b3. And yeah, he's heading for c5 clearly. Rook takes, queen takes. Blasphemy. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
The position is getting really dry. And it might not seem so, but these bishops are going to be very powerful coupled together, because the bishop from f1 and the bishop on e3 going to tear your queen side apart if you're not careful. It's really dangerous. 97 is natural. I mean, taking control of c5. Here you make some kind of this comment is a bit abstract. While I know I had 97, I felt White's knight was causing me too many headaches on a5 and c5. True, but 97 takes care of 95.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I mean,
this knight is a target. I mean, it's hanging there in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not threatening to take it, but it's not comfortable either.
I mean, part of it is that I had made that decision here, that I was going to trade rooks and then take on b3. I made that decision here. Maybe I just miscalculated that once I play knight d7 after that there's no more threats from white. I think it was a little bit of a miscalculation, because I totally agree. Whoops.
It's your best bishop. I mean, it shouldn't be your first option.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he's really invading and causing you some real tactical problems, then knight d7 it's completely safe. I don't see how he can do something about this. In fact, if he allows me to play bishop f8, I would feel like I'm better here because of this somewhat misplaced knight. He should probably play knight c5. I don't know, but this looks pretty drawish to me. I know it's maybe not what you hope for, but it looks fair. You can still play for a window. After the trade, your pawn structure is very slightly better. I mean, your bishop is a bit better than this one. The center is, well, favorable to you because his pawn is on the light square. So, yeah, I'll take black. I'll still take black because of the better dark square disposition. But still, it's completely dry if he plays all right. But yeah, bishop takes b3 is putting you in a lot of trouble. 97. And now he has a strong move. He didn't play it. He took a takes b5, but there's something stronger. What do you think it is?
Wondering about c4, because that might split up my pawns and he'll still have two connected pawns. I guess it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily split them up, but I will have a. If I don't do anything, he'll just win a pawn. So it will split them up, or else I lose a pawn, I guess. Oh, I don't know if that's.
He's opening up.
I mean, if I play queen b7. But maybe he just plays c5. Well, no, that will become a problem for him. Maybe he can play bishop f1.
Yeah, this is coming. Though at this point, I think you can play before. Which white probably doesn't like. I mean, it would make sense for white to trade everything on b5, I guess. Just so that he opens up the position for his bishops.
Okay, yeah. Simplify here.
Yeah, something like pawn takes.
And then I guess, now this is getting annoying for me, very annoying.
Yeah, whatever happens, these bishops are going to be
Yeah.
quite strong on these diagonals. Yeah, you're probably going to suffer in this endgame. Yeah, c4 had the virtue of opening everything up. A takes b, well, it's still okay. I mean, I still think you're in some trouble. Bishop f8, queen to d2, and yeah, king h7, h4. h4 is a nice move because it also kind of threatens to open your king. But queen d6.
Yeah, this was a mistake. Yeah.
He didn't see bishop takes.
Yeah. It's kind of surprising, like a yo-yo move. You know? Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a strange trick. Easy to miss, definitely, for both. So queen takes, bishop takes, and then it fizzled out to draw, which is great because he didn't make the most out of your weaknesses on the queen side. That could have been exposed if he used both bishops and the pawn breaks, but now your knight is just too active and the position is too solid for him to achieve anything, I guess.
But when he made his last move, like if we go up, when he played bishop c8, and he said, I offer you a draw, I was quite surprised because he had, I think he had a lot more time. Yeah, so I wrote in my notes that he had 32 minutes and I had 10 minutes. I mean, probably it'll be a draw. I mean, opposite colored bishops. But I don't know. I think he should have played on a little bit because, I mean, that's a big time difference. However,
though all your moves become automatic. You put all the pawns on dark squares and then you just go back and forth. Like he can't harm your position. I think that's the main.
Well, yeah. The other thing is that we were both 0 for 3 at this point, and we really didn't want another loss. So we were pretty happy to draw. Like we just wanted to get on the scoreboard. 0 for 3 is really tough. So we were okay with the draw. Yeah, and we're similarly rated. So yeah. And I mean, it felt good to get a draw, even though at this point my score was just 0.5 out of 6. Just to avoid another loss felt good, and I think it was actually a decently played game. I mean, there weren't any huge mistakes other than queen d6, but I'm already in a slight time trouble at that point.
Yeah. I mean, in general, you did well. I mean, apart from not feeling comfortable in this structure, the main thing is, in these situations, you can't ask for a lot from your position. I mean, the plans are really positional nature. You just want to grab some square place on the queen side, find decent square for your pieces, c5 for the bishop or a knight. I mean, this is completely symmetrical. White got nothing out of the opening, but you also don't have a position that's going to blow him away from the ball or anything. So, patience is required, and you just have to maneuver your pieces to decent squares. c5 is quite key. That's also why a5 is so important, to secure c5 for, any piece that lands there, the knight or the bishop. But it's a really quiet position for both, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, not my preferred type of game, right? Like not my style, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Alessandro. Your microphone is really good. Like it's definitely
Oh,
noticeable. Like yeah, like if
that's great.
you when you watch if you look at the YouTube video later, it's really noticeable. So it's and and actually Google Meet is actually not bad. It's your video is there's no buffering and the audio is steady. It's not delaying or cutting. It's not cutting out at all. So
Yeah, which used to happen a lot. Yeah.
yeah. And what about from your end? You can see me and hear me okay the whole time?
Yeah, no, there weren't any problems. And it was steady. It was
Yeah.
definitely steady.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the volume is always the same. It's yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Maybe we'll
working
try
fine.
that next time. And the next time we can look at the rounds 5 and 6.
Yeah, yeah. I want. Yeah, the idea was to advance through the games quite quickly, especially. Yeah, and the last two we're going to take a quick look, and then we can start the heavy training.
Heavy training. What do you mean?
Yeah, we're going to start training heavily
Oh man,
on
I don't know if
yeah.
I should be happy or scared or both, but okay,
A
that's
lot of questions, a lot of tactics, a lot of calculations. So
interesting.
yeah.
Oh, wow, you got some stuff planned. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks again, and yeah, maybe next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Mondays seem to work fine, but we can arrange anytime.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.